Good afternoon. Welcome to our home buyer seminar. We get together every Wednesday, más o menos 5 o'clock. Today, I'm a little late, so sorry for the late lift. I'm Bill Gross. I'm a real estate broker in Los Angeles at Bill Gross Probate, along with my colleague,
Yes, Patricia Castillo.
or Patricia Castillo for the rest of us, and our good friend, lender.
Gustavo Segura, how you guys doing?
Doing great, Gustavo. How you doing?
Good, good. You know, the rate's not so good today, but trying to stay optimistic.
Well, the rates are the rates. They're not neither good or bad. They are what they are. Tell us, what is it today? They've inched a little bit higher so far this
did.
week, right?
They did, yeah. So today was the Fed announcement yesterday. They had their meeting yesterday and today. They announced they weren't going to raise it. They weren't going to hike anything, which is what we were expecting because of the good inflation numbers that came out last week. But in their announcement, they also did say that they do expect some higher Fed fund rates to go up, so some higher changes. So with that, it kind of threw the market for a spin. So definitely they changed, and we're gonna have to keep an eye on over the next 3 months here to see where we end up at by the end of the year.
So just to go back in time, when we started the year, we'd been between 6 and 7% all year long, and then all of a sudden we kept bumping up to 7, and then boom, we pushed through it and haven't gone down below since. And
Yeah,
I think what you're referring to is we ended up last week around 7.2, and all of a sudden we're back up to 7.33, which is towards the high
yeah,
for this year, and I think that's the high for the last 20 years, if I remember correctly. Let's see, let's go back and look and see what the maximum time
yeah.
period
There's
is.
definitely gonna be, yeah.
The
There you
last
go.
time we're in the sevens was, here you go, 2000
Yeah, about
and
20 years.
something. Yeah, about 20 years. Wow.
Yeah,
About as
and
old as Patricia.
Patricia was 5. Yeah. So, and with that came, talks about, yeah, they expect the interest rates to be a little bit higher than expected. So that kind of threw the market off, like I said, for a little bit of a curveball, and you know, it reacted, and bonds, the yields on that have to go up. So, not very good, but like you said, the rates are what the rates are, the market are, the values of the home are where they're at, and it's still a great opportunity.
So I think that's the key part is that yes, rates are up slightly, but there's a little less competition, a little less energy than there was before.
Mhm.
And if you use that to your advantage, you can come out ahead, if not at the same spot. Patricia, what do you see as far as demand for houses? I know you and I are working on another one. We got some offers. You have a buyer who put an offer in right away. What do you see with the rates and how is it affecting the demand for property?
Yeah, I mean, it depends, what kind of buyer you have. There are many cash buyers out there right now, so they're not really too worried about the rates right now because they're purchasing cash. But even if you are looking to purchase, let's say, an investment property and you're going to get, a hard money loan or other type of financing that's outside of the conventional, you are going to pay a higher rate, but that will also cut a lot of that, underwriting and red tape that goes along with regular, normal traditional lenders. Which at that point, once you have the property and you rehab it and either you sell it or rent it out, you'll be able to refinance and get it out of that hard money loan with a higher rate. So that's some of the conversations I've had lately, and buyer demand, Bill, is still pretty high. I'm not really hearing too much, about the rates. It's just more about the payment and can we afford the payment. So it's looking at the different scenarios as far as the homeowners or soon to be homeowners income, what their debts are, and really staying within that parameter so that they can qualify and be able to make that mortgage payment. So it's really about being comfortable at least for the next maybe 12 months so that homeowners can refinance after that time frame and get into a lower rate.
Hopefully. I mean, there's no way to know, but at least. And then I think also I can say personally that, you know, buyers have some of the opportunities to use some special programs where a year ago, as a listing agent, we would have just disregarded it. I mean, I'm an escrow on with a buyer who is getting the Los Angeles moderate income loan, MIPA loan. We wouldn't have accepted the offer a year ago. We would have thought about it. And this buyer is late on getting their contingencies. They've waived their contingencies, but they're late on the close of escrow. And my seller could theoretically cancel the escrow and keep the deposit, but we're hanging in there with the buyer. We wouldn't have done that a year ago. We would have just canceled, taken the cash, and remarketed the property. So the buyer has an opportunity that they didn't have before. In fact, the one Gustav and I worked on, it was a buyer who turned out not to be qualified, and then he came back and with another lender, but in another story, and another agent, not me. And it turns out that we got the house sold, but we never to give him the extra 60 days it took to put things together a year ago. This year they have that opportunity. So I think the message for buyers is the rates might be a little higher, the payment might be higher, but you have a chance to buy a property that I think a year ago you would have been pushed aside or elbowed aside, and today you might get a chance to be considered.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's more flexibility right now with sellers entertaining those offers that maybe have down payment assistance or,
I like how you say entertaining because it's not entertaining when I present it to them. They're not swept away with my description of the program and the overhead and the likelihood of the thing being approved. Entertaining is an interesting word, but they'll consider, I think, is a better word.
Consider it. Yeah. I mean, it's, the likelihood of the loan getting funded and closing is pretty strong considering that, the buyer has gone through that approval process. Now it's just a matter of going through the process for the down payment assistance and what that is, what the process of that alone. So it might take a little bit longer, but a seller can still get their asking price in today's market, even when they're working with a buyer that has down payment assistance. And in every county, it changes, right? So if there is a buyer out there that's interested in down payment assistance programs, I know Gustavo can share more on that, but there are, limitations on median income per county, and it also depends on your, what your debt to ratio is as well. So, but most importantly, it's also making sure that you're within that parameter as far as the median income within each county.
Yeah. Well, I had a phone call just today from another EXP agent, and he had a buyer who only qualified with a Cal HAFA loan, which I think is, if I remember correctly, is zero down payment.
They help you with the down payment, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but zero down payment, right? They help you, but you end up with no cash for the down payment.
No, they give you the money. So there's a second loan on there
for the down payment.
Yeah.
And he was saying we could structure the deal where the seller paid closing costs. And so magically he's qualified. I said, well, hold on for a second. Number one, how much do they qualify for? Because you can raise the sales price as long as the buyer qualifies at the elevated sales price. Number two, is a property going to qualify for the appraisal at that price? Just because you say you want to add the closing cost doesn't mean the property appraises. And number three, I said, even if you don't pay closing costs, sometimes different programs or lenders have reserve requirements. You may not need the money to close escrow, but the lender might want to say, at the close of escrow, we want to see 3 months or 6 months of the monthly payments in your bank account. And so just because the lender says, oh, you don't need any money, that might be true that you don't need any money to close escrow. Probably not, but maybe even if it was true, because you have prorated interest, prorated taxes, maybe. But even if it was true, many lenders still want to see some money before they'll approve it. And if not, I said to the realtor, then the lender should put it in writing. He's pre-approved. Here's the reserves required. Here's what he has. It shouldn't be, I shouldn't have to piece this all together. And this is a case where I think Gustavo is the kind of lender we work with because he'll go that extra yard and get that work done to help me as the buyer's agent sell the listing agent, or me as a listing agent present it to my customer. So many lenders are used to just doing the loan. They don't realize there's some sales involved. And that's why we work with Gustavo.
Yeah.
And I told him, you need to find an agent who knows HAFA loans, has a written good faith estimate, gives you pre-approval with the details, matches the two up, and says, and then is going to call the listing agent to sell this thing, which I know you would do that in a heartbeat and have done it for me and Patricia. But most lenders don't do that. And then the buyers wonder, why didn't they get their offer accepted?
Right. Yeah, no, that's very true. The easy loans may be a little bit behind us, right? It's being able to structure these deals and being able to make sure that they will go forward, being able to get all the guidelines, being able to make sure that you fulfill all the requirements, and then making sure that the buyer knows what is expected of them as well. So, and then, like you said, everybody ends up working together. I always like to call the listing agent, introduce myself, talk about, my buyer, where they're at, what we're going to do, and be transparent about their financing opportunity.
Yeah, that's an interesting case, and I think working together. I think you hit it right on the head that it's so important for us to work together as a team. I just don't think that buyers understand the importance of that connection. For what that's worth.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But we do. So when you're working with us, we have that, that process down because we work as a team. So it's important to work with an agent that is also working with a lender and has the foundation set up. And, basically when you're out looking for property, knowing when to get your loan approval updated, knowing when to get it locked in, and making sure that the buyer is in the best position to make an offer, but not just an offer, but make it a strong offer. And also it's still competitive right now. So you want your offer to be really competitive and also attractive to the seller. So those are things that we will work with you on to make sure that your offer is structured in a way that it most likely would get accepted. I've had success in that area.
Just keeping some quick housekeeping. I see people are watching the live stream on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn. We're watching the comments there too. So feel free if you have questions, put it in there. If you want to just say hi, if you want to shout out and say how much you appreciate my insight, feel free to give Bill a shout out. You don't need to bother to shout out for the others. They don't need the attention as much as I do. So feel free. We'd love to hear from you guys. Love to have you participate. That's what this is meant for. It also strikes me, it always strikes me as interesting that buyers would think that they're going to buy a house once in their lifetime and find the right lender. And here, we do this every day. I mean, I literally talk to lenders. Hey, Mendel. Speaking of lenders, there's Mendel from, he lives in the LA area, but I think he also works out of the Valley. How they would find a lender on their one purchase in their lifetime that's going to be the magic to their challenges. Very good, Mendel. Thank you. Shout out to Bill. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Versus us as professionals expecting that at least we'd make an introduction and see the difference. And to me, it's always so clear that the lender the buyer finds is always some gaping holes in their service offering, can't get them on the phone, can't get a pre-approval letter, can't get a written estimate form. It's just really, Tim's not committal. He shouts out Patricia and then me and Gustavo. So I guess 2 points, Patricia, 1 for me and Gustavo. On that one. But it just is so important, that connection. I don't get paid. I don't know, Gustavo, you don't pay me as a lender, do you?
No, you can't.
Nothing. Patricia, do you get paid by your lenders? No, we don't. It's only because we get paid when the lender does his job that we're so interested in pushing the lender we work with, because it's so important.
Yeah.
It's not that he's just a pretty face, for sure. For sure, that's not what it is.
There's some skill involved.
There is.
There is. He's not just a pretty face. He actually knows what he's doing. Imagine that.
Yeah.
I'm just teasing. Okay, well, that's important. That teamwork, and we all need to work together. We all need to communicate and to get the job done. And it's a tough job. I don't think I've ever I had an escrow that was easy. Even the easy ones aren't easy at the end of the day. There's always hiccups and problems and challenges when we work together to get them done.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that is, we don't share a lot of the really stressful moments because we're taking that away from our clients. We don't want to alarm them during the transaction. So we make sure that we're handling any bumps in the road that come up, but we're also not giving all that information to our clients because it could turn out to be very stressful for them. And that's really one thing that we take into consideration. We have that under control. And so we deliver that, experience, more of a seamless experience for our clients.
Yeah, and I think you're right, Patricia. I think a lot of people will say, well, it's, maybe what is my realtor doing or what is my lender doing, right? There is a lot of things that go on behind the back scenes that we're doing, that we're checking guidelines. If there's an underwriter condition that comes out that is not needed, we fight for that. Also the less conditions that we can, the less paperwork that we need so that we come back less times to their buyer.
Yeah.
Sometimes we give something that is not needed and it may just complicate things as well. So there's a lot of things that your realtor or your lender will do in order to make sure that we keep a smooth process. So when someone says that was easy, it was probably because they were working hard behind the scenes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's something that we really pride ourselves on, is making that process as seamless as possible for our clients, whether they're buyers or sellers.
So, okay, so there you go. For our buyers, the message we're going to take away today is you need a lender that is part of the team and working with us to get the job done. This is not just about who promises the low rates when you start your shopping process. It's who's going to deliver the best result at the end when you're ready to close. And those are often two different people. My experience, almost always two different people. And so that's why it's so important to work together. Get that offer accepted requires work. It requires planning. It requires, I think, teamwork and systems. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say any last words wrap up today. Patricia Castillo, what's your word of the day? We're working on a deal, hopefully another one in Whittier. Whittier's a hot market for us, right?
Whittier is hot. I just sold a home there probably about a month ago, and it's had a lot of buyers interested. So I am working with some of them right now on their qualifications. And sometimes you may not be ready today, but we also provide that insight on helping guide that blueprint for you so that you could be ready in maybe 3 months or 6 months or maybe even a year. But we stay with you throughout that process. So my advice today is, let's just have a quick conversation. It doesn't take very long, just to kind of see what your goals are and stay with that goal, whether it takes 3 months or 6 months. Because of the low inventory, prices have still been increasing, and we'd love to get you into a home before the prices go up and possibly before the interest rates go up again. There might be one more rate hike before the end of the year. We're still, waiting on that to come, but we'll definitely start getting into a more of a focus plan for you so that we can see where you're at and what would be needed in order to get you qualified for a home, whatever that purchase price may look like. But yes, Whittier is a hot market, a lot of activity going on there. It's a beautiful neighborhood, a good school district. There's a lot of, hiking trails around there, parks, a lot of recreation. There's a lot of shopping there. And also it's just a nice neighborhood. It's well kept. You can see the pride of ownership throughout the neighborhood and community. Neighbors, have that like close knit there where they really look out for each other and just take care of each other's homes. I have a few friends that live in Whittier, and they don't want to move from there. They really like, where they're at. It's a great place to live.
I grew up in nearby La Habra. My father's office was in Whittier, and the synagogue I belonged to was in Whittier. So I spent a lot of time in Whittier. That's where the mall was. Nice neighborhood, nice area. Big Boys restaurant on Whittier Boulevard there. We used to get in trouble there. I think I'll change the subject before I have to admit anything. Gustavo, any hot words of wisdom for us as we kind of wrap up today?
Yeah, I've been speaking to buyers, and as I give them a kind of overall, state of the union about where the market is at and the opportunity, just like we talked about, they'll still be a little bit shy about moving forward. That just still leaves you same place where you're at. It doesn't make you move forward. It doesn't allow you to take the next step. And what I mean by that is they don't give all the documents, right? Income, or allow us to go through and really do a verification of things. Um, Please, do take that step, because that's the one that's going to allow you to say, I can do it now. I can do it in 3 months or in 6 months, as Patricia said, but at least you're moving forward. You're taking a step. And I know that, people will be, well, I don't think I qualify. Well, let us tell you, right? Let us figure it out. Let us see what we can do, because you may be surprised. So definitely keep, we're on your team. We want to make sure we get this done for you. So definitely keep that line of communication with your lender and with your realtor.
Well, you say that in the background. I always think of the song from High School Musical. We're all in this together. We are in this together,
Yeah.
and there are companies where the lender and realtor are like a shotgun marriage because the broker is making money and charging both of them. That's not the case with us.
Right.
As an agent, I always want to work with lenders who get my customer the outcome we want, which means the best execution, price, strategy for buyer and for the seller. They have to perform. And so in this market, I see so many lenders with bad habits. So many lenders, I ask them a couple questions, they fold like a house of cards, and they're not going to get their offer accepted. So work with a professional like Gustavo. His number's there down below. Or reach out to Patricia if she can help you and get that consult with you. But let's take this seriously and professionally. Okay, with that, I think we'll wrap up, guys. I know, Patricia, you're going to be doing some open houses in Whittier again this weekend.
Yes.
The hot market of Whittier.
Yep.
And Gustavo, I know you're going to be doing some loans. You're available to help people with loans, so thank you for your support.
Yeah.
And for the rest of you, thank you for being on the call today. We do this every Wednesday, más o menos 5 p.m. Kind of, we're a little loosey-goosey, sometimes earlier, sometimes later. We're all busy here, but we want to help you guys learn and get on your road towards better income and wealth. If you have questions or comments, put in the chat box. Give us a shout-out, particularly the shout-out something good about me. Feel free to put that in the comments. If it's about the other guys, don't really worry about it so much.
Oh,
Anyhow, have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Thank you guys. Good seeing you guys. Bye.